Hello, Alexa here, and I'm back again with another video, probably sooner than you expected given my track record of filming videos, but I'm here to film my first ever book haul because I went over the past weekend to this super giant used book sale. It was actually called Giant Used Book Sale, like as a title, so I'm not kidding, it was huge. There were multiple rooms, tables upon tables of books in all genres. It was pretty crazy. And of course, you cannot beat the prices at a used book sale. So yeah, I got 16 books for $13 and I can't even hold them all up, as you could see. But considering I got such a massive stack of books at such a good deal, super happy about that, I figured that I would show them off. So without further ado, because there are a lot of books, I will go into them. The first thing I bought was the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy. This is probably my most embarrassing books that I haven't read yet because I just feel like that's something in like the canon of fantasy literature that you have to read. You can't be a fantasy fan if you've never read Lord of the Rings. Obviously you can, but that's just how I feel. So I feel super guilty that I haven't read these yet. And I know that these are the mass market paperback editions, which is only annoying to me, not for like the aesthetic or the look of them, but because they're so annoying. Like they barely open unless you want to crack the spine. They're just annoying to read from, but it was only $1.50 for 3 of them and I couldn't really say no to that. The next book I got was Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte, and this is my favorite classic of all time, which is probably because I hate the characters like so much. Classics that make me really angry are the ones that stick with me, and they're the ones that always end up being my favorites, and Wuthering Heights made me really, really angry. Hence, my favorite classic. And I didn't have a copy, so pick this one up. The next book I got was another classic, and that was Walden by Henry David Thoreau. And I actually got a chance to visit Walden Pond this past summer, so it's about time that I actually read the book and not just excerpts of the book. There we go. Then I got The Lost Hero. This is just to complete my series. I have all of the Heroes of Olympus books except for The Lost Hero, and now I have the entire series, so that's really cool. The next book I got was Genghis Khan and the Making of the Modern World, which is a historical nonfiction book. I love historical nonfiction, if you did not know, because I do mostly talk about YA. It's just, so I'm really, really excited to read this one. Apparently it was a bestseller, so I'm hoping that means that it's also really well written, because I really love learning about Genghis Khan. The next book I picked up was The Bonesetter's Daughter by Amy Tan. Just reading the synopsis, this is a book kind of about a mother and daughter, and the mother grew up in China in the 1930s and writes down her memories, and the daughter discovers these written memories, and something happens. I don't know, but it looked really compelling to me, so I'm excited to read this one. And I have read books from Amy Tan before, so. The next book I got was 1776 by David Mickleth, which is another historical nonfiction, and I think you can tell what it's about by the title. It's about America in 1776 and everything that transpired that year. And I actually started this book a few years ago, but I was borrowing it, so I had to give it back before I could finish it. So now I'm excited that I'm actually going to get to read this entire thing. The next book I got was Guns, Germs, and Steel by Jared Diamond. Again, another historical nonfiction, I guess you could call it, although it's kind of broader than the other two. This book was an optional reading assignment in my world history class a few years ago, and we read some excerpts from it, and it was really interesting. And I know this is like one of those must-read books, and I'm majoring in history in college, so I figured I would pick this up when it was so cheap. The next book I got was Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. This is another one of my shameful confessions that I do not own the entire Harry Potter series. So I figured I would actually complete my series because that just seemed really sad to me. Like, I don't care about the condition of the books. Like, this is just your used paperback edition, but now I'm getting towards owning them all. I'm just really bad at completing a series once I have some of the books. I don't like purchasing books that I've already read for some reason, so I got it because it was cheap. On a similar vein, I got a copy of Winter, which is the last book in the Lunar Chronicles. I haven't actually read any of them, but I got the first book for free, so I figured I'd pick up the last book for $1 when it was available. Oh, The only thing with this one is because it was an old library book, it has the like shiny library cover, so whenever I see it in my room I'm gonna think just, oh my god, is there a library book I haven't returned? Am I gonna be fined for this? No, it's my book. Then I got A Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger because why not? It's a book I like, I enjoyed it. I know there's really mixed feelings about this particular book, but I personally enjoyed it. I like the writing style a lot, so I grabbed a copy. Then I got Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, which surprisingly I have not read. This is one of the classics I haven't read, and this is a really pretty edition. This is probably the only pretty edition of a book I actually picked up this weekend, but c'est la vie. So I'm really happy to have this. Then we have The Red Pyramid by Rick Riordan, which, again, completing a series. If I can see the book for 50 cents, why not? And finally, I got An Abundance of Catherines by John Green partly because I remember really liking this when I read it, although that was in middle school. Another reason is because when my sister has to read books for school, she really likes to read John Green books, so that's another one for her to read. So that concludes my super massive used book sale book haul. I can't believe I bought this many books at one time, and it basically cost as much as it would cost to buy one paper book back at Barnes & Noble. You can't really beat that. So, hope you enjoyed, and I will see you with a new video soon.